it is now coming up to that time of the year again, where my channel has reached yet another anniversary. This time though, instead of 1 year, or 2 years, I've managed to reach 3 years, which is crazy to think how fast it's went. This has been one of the most successful channels I've ever made, and I can't thank you enough for it. In this video I'll be going over some topics. First one I want to mention is the community, which I know might have bored you last time, but I want to mention it again, as I think this is quite a serious matter. I feel like as if this community is just starting to fade, and by that I mean members announcing that they have sunsetted filming Handriders purely because of the toxicity of this community.
And this year is the final year where I'm going to be making one of these videos, as I'm completely and utterly disappointed with you all.
Everywhere I go, I just see posts about people cutting ties, people causing drama, people getting angry, and it's just no need for it. I understand some people might dislike each other, and that is okay. However, I think we need to draw a line on what's acceptable and what is not. I suspect other people might leave this community soon, which is unfortunate to see. I also want to make a quick note that filming these dryers is not cheap. Train tickets cost quite a lot, and thankfully I've got a rail card which cuts a third of the price. However, I was paying full price back then, and they are still pretty expensive, I'd argue. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm filming hand dryers with the cost of wasting a bit of money, and it's such a shame to see that this community is dying. It feels as if my money is going to waste. I want to branch out to new places, however I feel as if it would be harder to get the motivation to do so if this community starts to fade. Additionally, I think my interest is starting to fade as well. I don't get as excited as I was back then. If there was some advice I could give to the community now, please control your anger. There is no need for this unnecessary drama. I understand some people have done some vile things, but there is no need to go beyond this far. Simply just ignoring someone would do a massive difference, or responding in a more constructive manner. Seriously, I'd rather go back to those days where NTHLT was calling us morons for getting excited over seeing an ATC dryer as a Tesca than what I'm seeing right now. So with that note out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some more positive things about my channel. Locations is a pretty big one, and I mentioned it earlier. As I said, I branched out to loads of locations, including areas of the northwest. Some areas include Llandudno, Rhyl, Stafford, Congleton, Lancaster, Cannock, Rugeley, Tamworth and Lichfield, as well as some other places. I've basically conquered most of the northwest. I still have some areas that I have planned there. However, other than that, I'd say I've done quite a good job filming the northwest of the UK. It is worth noting, however, that I am running out of places in the northwest of England, so my plans are going to be more ambiguous this year. I plan on going on to Edinburgh, and hopefully Dundee for that matter, for those interested. I also hope to go to places like Sheffield and Wolverhampton, and hopefully some other places that are worth going to. If you've got any recommendations that are realistic, please do feel free to let me know. Now then, let's have a look at some statistics. In the last 365 days, as of the 26th of March, I've managed to accumulate over 155,000 views, 789 hours of watch time, and 135 subscribers, all of which are much better statistics compared to last year. I've also managed to make over 1.6 million impressions, which again is quite more than last year. My most popular video as of this year is still the hand dry compilation that I made back in 2023 at Aintree Retail Park. A quick note that I'd like to say is that I did promise to make a hand dry adventure there, given how popular this one was. However, I just completely didn't have the motivation to do so, and I do apologise for that. The other videos that came in popular were just shorts. It is worth noting, however, that I had more motivation to do shorts this year compared to last year, which could explain the success of these popular videos. In terms of the audience, I managed to gain 45% new viewers, probably thanks to shorts, 30% of casual viewers, and maintain 21% of regular viewers. The time you lot are active is mainly around 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and this is noticeably more popular during the weekends, where you guys are more active around 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. In terms of watch time from subscribers, around 59.4% of you are not subscribed, with 40.6% of you are being subscribed. I'm not asking for you guys to subscribe, but if you feel like you want to, please consider doing so. In terms of type of device you guys watch me on, interestingly, 46.6% of you watch me on a tablet, which I found quite interesting. Mobile phone comes up behind at 34.5%, and computer, interestingly, comes in at only around 10.2%. TV also sneaked its way into there, being at around 8.7%. In terms of demographics, 36.2% of my viewers are female, while 63.8% of my viewers are male. The most popular age bracket is 35 to 44 year olds, coming in at around 47.7%. 45 to 54 year olds comes in behind, with 13 to 17 year olds coming in at third place. The popular geography is obviously the United Kingdom, which makes sense given that my videos are obviously filmed in the United Kingdom. What comes behind is Puerto Rico, United States, Ireland and the Philippines. Now this is an interesting one with the subtitles. Most of my videos don't have subtitles, but on the very rare occasion that I do talk, I get English subtitles. Though interestingly, I've managed to get Japanese subtitles. From which video, you ask? I'll show you. Yep, the two-tone of a Class 390 Pendolino is apparently Japanese, and that contributes to 0.1% of my subtitle languages, even though I've never spoken a single word of Japanese in that video. And that is what I have to say about my statistics. Overall, what YouTube is telling me is that my third year of this channel has been more successful, which I'm glad to see. And it's mainly thanks to you lot watching these videos and contributing to them. Now let's go over some replacements. Firstly, and quite obviously, Waitrose and Formby. I'm specifically referring to the dryer in the Gents, which used to be a Warner Howard Air Force, which eventually got replaced with this PHS Warner Howard Air Force. It only took 3 years until it sounded like this. The first time I reacted to this, I could tell something was off by the low pitched noise, and I thought I might as well back up just in case, and when I heard the crackling, that's when I realised, yep, this Air Force was dodgy. Unlike Mawson's and Pakefield, which also did have a dodgy Air Force, this Air Force got replaced within weeks. Rather interestingly, it got replaced with a Warner Howard EL600, not a PHS Warner Howard one for that matter. I was a bit disappointed though to see it in red as opposed to blue, however this could mean that it's potentially more reliable, as these blue units, after being weeks in operation, are seemingly starting to fail. What a massive letdown this industry has had. I also want to talk about Burger King, as I've managed to find quite a few branches with Model A's, even one in Blackburn which had Model A's in brand new refurbished toilets, which I thought was a really nice find. I can't say the same for the other branches I went to with Model A's though. The one on East Prescott Road got refurbished, the dryers have likely been replaced. The one in Cheshire Oaks got refurbished, dryer being replaced with a PHS Warner Howard EL dryer. The one in St Helens also got refurbished. It's a massive shame to see Burger King getting rid of some of these dryers. However, it's not the case for all branches as seen with the one in Blackburn. I also want to talk about Waterstones, as they have also seemingly been replacing their dryers pointlessly with Blue Dry Eco dryers. Let's go over to the one in Altrincham for that matter. There used to be a Kingley Sunny Dry, that got replaced with a Blue Dry Eco Dry. Waterstones Norwich used to have a PHS Ultra Dry before getting replaced with a Mini Ike, then that got replaced with a Blue Dry Eco Dry. If we go over to the one in Liverpool one, that also has Eco Dries, which I find a bit interesting. I also want to talk about Costa as well. And I'm talking about failed C1s for that matter, or failed dryers in old branches. It seems that they used to use C1s before trialling with Air Forces, before going back to C1s. Then obviously, Loveair rebranded the TSL, which led to some TSL replacements being seen. And I'd say around 2023 to 2024-ish, Blue Dry products were interestingly cited. And now they seemingly went back to HKJAs, but not with TSL, but with Dryflow rather interestingly. Though I'd say this is 90% of the time, as I managed to find a 2025 TSL at a branch in Newcastle underline. I wonder what will happen with these C1 replacements. Will they actually stick to Dryflow HKJAs? Or will they get back to TSL? I also want to talk about Pizza Hut as well. As whilst this doesn't necessarily fit into what I'm saying, most of their branches are starting to close down, and this is why I am making an effort to try and film as many as I can before they close permanently for good, as I do suspect this will be the case soon. One and Speak did survive the closure until it eventually got shut down to be refurbished into a ring stock. There was a replacement though, as there used to be a Kingsley Stanley Dry that got replaced with a Zenda GSQ91. However, that is all the replacements I've managed to document. I've managed to film a good majority of the branches in the northwest of England, and I do plan on trying to film as many as I can. However, I can't guarantee I will film every single one though. And now, let's move on to polls. This is where I ask you, my community, to answer some polls that I have. The first poll that I made is mainly about reliability. And I asked, what do you think is the cause for the sudden drop in reliability? Was it cheap build quality, the lack of maintenance, excessive features, or the manufacturer location? Over 89% of you voted for cheap build quality, with 7% of you voting for excessive features, and 4% of you voting for the manufacturer location. The second poll got more popular. This is just a range of drivers that I asked what people thought were unreliable. The Euro 2 came in at 19%, the Airstreams coming at around 17%, and rather interestingly, the Veldryer Air Force got 60%, and 4% of you voted for the Accelerator. The third poll that I made was about dryer preferences, asking which manufacturer do they personally like. 12% of you voted for Goodwind, 66% of you voted for Dyson, 8% of you voted for Mini-Clinics, and 14% of you voted for Excel Dryer. And finally, the last poll that I have is which manufacturer do you personally not like? And quite evidently, AirDry took the crown on this, with around 73% of votes being taken place for AirDry. Geagle took 20%, Kingsdry took 2%, and Crowyer took 4%. And that concludes the polls I have for my 3-year anniversary. And now we come to the end of my 3-year anniversary video. My schedule lasts until 2027 and I haven't even sorted half my videos yet. I can guarantee you, once I sort these videos out, I can estimate my queue to be around mid-2027. I can't wait to see what this year will have for me, and I hope this can be a successful year where there's no drama. However, I can't see that being a possibility. It's such a shame to see people leaving this community. However, I don't think it can be helped, especially given the state that this community is in. I want to trial with new videos this year, and by that I mean I want to do more voiceovers, and this could consist of hand dry adventures, or even how I do these trips, as I'm sure some of you might be interested in how I plan these trips. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there now, and I'll see you in my 2026 rewind. If you enjoyed the content that I produce, consider subscribing. It helps boost the visibility of this channel and does help me out. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.